Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is still one of my favorite games of all time, but we're not here to discuss that today. We're here talking about Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era, but if you did play that game, I think you're going to really like this one. First off, I have to thank Ubisoft for providing a key for this game. Game is published by Hooded Horse and developed by Unfrozen, but it's also published by Ubisoft as well, and you can get it on Steam in early access right now. So, can a new studio revive a 30-year-old IP in 2026? And the answer, I'm going to go ahead and answer it. I'm going to say yes, and we'll get more into that throughout the video. Right now, it is sold over 650,000 copies. So I'd say it's doing quite well. And I think this IP holds really true to one of the best games in the series. So let's get into the game and break it down and talk about what Olden Era has in store. Game, it does remind you that this is in early access. You'll have access to each of the factions, which is Temple, Dungeon, Schism, Grove, Necropolis, and Hive. The first act is non-linear. Well, the campaign's non-linear. The first act will be available, and we'll have more available acts. We do have many modes, and we'll go through the modes as we go through the game. You can begin a new game here, or you can begin a campaign, do challenges, or multiplayer from the onset of the game. We're going to go ahead and click new game and do a quick start just to see what we have here. We have 4 different modes. We have arena, classic, single hero, and scenarios. Let's go ahead and click into the campaign, start a new campaign. You're just getting a profile name here. It's not really anything of super importance. You'll notice that the cutscenes have like a different art style as you go through them, so it's like almost stop motion like. It's very different than the actual in-game animation, so feel free to watch these, or you can skip over them if you like. Alright, so that's kind of your prelude into getting into the campaign. The campaign will have these interactions between characters as well. This is very familiar for this series. They've always done this, where you have an opening and an interaction that kind of sets the mood or the tone or the scene of the campaign map. You can skip through these as fast as you would like to, or you can read every single detail if you'd like.
Says the fires there, they don't burn out.
Alright, and here you can select your difficulty. There are 4 tiers of difficulty at the beginning. In early access here, they may add more later, but for now, this is where we are at. You can see what the hero is going to come with when you start the campaign. You can see he's got leadership and strength. As you get into the campaign, you'll have more dialogue in between different characters as you go. It's not necessarily going to happen all the time, just kind of an onset into the campaign to get you started. There's a little bit of choose your own adventure here. It doesn't really affect the campaign, it just kind of affects what they actually say in the conversation here. There's many different factions in the game, and each faction has 7 tiers of monsters. So this one is a Minotaur, is a tier 4. You can see all the different attributes, the different fighting styles as you battle. You can see the attack, defense, damage, morale, luck, initiative, and speed. And if you want to deep dive into the lore, you can go into the description. Our map has many different resources. We have gold, wood, ore, gems, crystals, mercury, and alchemical dust, which is new to this game. Double click on a hero, you can see Gunner. He's our overlord. He's got Mighty Axe as his skill. Each character has a spell book. They also have skills that they can use. We've got attack, defense, knowledge, spell power, luck, morale, and movement points. And these are artifact spots. So as you find artifacts on the map, you can equip them. And then you have an inventory for things if you don't have any room to equip them. Sometimes you can sell artifacts or you can trade them to other heroes. These interactions on the map will do various things depending on what they are. Sometimes you can hire creatures, sometimes you'll get luck, sometimes you'll get a skill. All depends on what it is and what you click on. Right now we have 2 objectives. We have the hero's journey, Gunner must survive, and in Garner Hills we have to investigate to uncover the strange nature of the fire. So there's a lot of things on fire on this map, and we're going to run through and figure out what that is. Sometimes your interactions will have stories like this. You will either accept these creatures, they may join you, or they will choose to fight you. And it all depends on how the story goes. But as you click on creatures on the map, you can see if it's going to be an easy battle, normal, impossible. Definitely want to stay away from difficult battles and impossible because you'll lose a lot of your troops immediately. Easy battles can generally be taken out and not really lose anything. At the beginning of a fight, you're going to have a tactics mode. This is tactics right here where you can move your creatures to the front. If you have creatures that shoot ranged, you want to keep them in the back. If you have objects in your way, you want to move your creatures around those objects so you don't have to go around them later, or you can use them as defense and place your ranged behind objects so it takes the enemy longer. This is a spell book and we have different schools of magic where spells will appear. Currently we have no spells, so the book is empty. Your spell book is available in battles and on the map when you're running around out of battle. You can see our fighting style is Grand Slam. We have an alternative attack. You can click that. And whenever the Minotaurs attack, they'll use their alternative attack. Up at the top, you can see the move bar. You can see each group of Minotaurs has a move, and then you will see the enemy has a turn to move, and it takes turns like that. If you have more initiative, sometimes creatures move up to the front of that. And as you defeat creatures, they get taken out of the move lane. And there we go. We've defeated our first enemy mob on the screen and collect some gold. Get a learning stone. We're going to get 1,000 XP. You can only move a certain amount per day. When your day is over, you can click E and your turn will end. Here we can actually increase our attack or defense by 2. And it will cost us 1,000 gold. It's always good to get these as you go along the map because they're permanent upgrades. Let's pick whichever one you like and then you can move on. And it only costs 1,000 gold. We have navigated most of the campaign so far and we've picked up a number of upgrades for our hero. We've picked up a number of new troops. And we are finding our way to the end of the screen. So everything in this campaign, again, was about the burning ground. You're supposed to investigate that. So when you get towards the end of a campaign, you will likely either have some sort of success criteria, whether you fight an enemy hero, or you find some sort of artifact, or you take over a castle. It all depends on the scenario and what the end criteria is. Right here as we check out this battle, this is a normal battle and we are going to be fighting some of the hive creatures in this battle. So you get to take a look at a different scenarios or a different faction in this battle. Here we are in tactics mode again. I'm going to move all of our creatures that have movement speed, move them to the front. Could move that one as well. I chose not to. That creature has a really long range, and so they got to attack first. As you move creatures nearby, if you have an attack, you will see a little sword icon and you can point that at the enemy creature. If your unit is ranged, you will either have an arrow or a broken arrow. A broken arrow means you are out of full damage range and you will do less damage because they are too far away. Ranged characters can attack anybody on the map. Distance is what determines how much damage they do. There's many different spells where you can amplify that damage, double the damage, or remove range penalties. So right here, we're going to use healing water. We're going to heal a little bit of our stack. We also have spells that can resurrect target creature stacks. The spells in the game are very in-depth, and you can do a multitude of things such as clone characters, move characters, destroy enemy units. The list goes on. Getting down to the last few creatures here for the enemy. If you don't like battling, you can auto battle at the bottom of the screen. You just select that and the battle will give you results and you don't have to fight at all. If you like being more tactical, you can fight every single battle yourself. And there we go. Victory for that campaign. And the story will move on to the next scenario inside of the campaign. Next thing we're going to look at in the game is challenges. Now, challenges are a way for you to do almost like tutorials for the game, but they have certain conditions. So when you go through and do a challenge, it's going to have a set of win criteria. You pick any of these on the map that you would like to. It tells you exactly what you're supposed to do, like this one called counterattack. And we have hero chaining. We have areas and map spells. Go ahead and start that one. Basically, the success criteria for this one is going to be getting from point A to point B using map spells because you're going to be blocked by normal navigation on horse. There's a bunch of global map spells that you can use in your spellbook when you're on the normal movement map. So we're going to learn how to use things like teleportation and flight. Certain areas of the map are just going to have a blockade, and it will tell you, here's where you need to go, here's where you can go, here's where you cannot go. And your job is to get to the end marker successfully in order to beat this challenge. Alright, in this mission you must reach the marked location on the island. Use the knowledge that you've gained and use your spellbook to navigate through here. So you can see we are trapped in an area. You are trying to get to the purple portal looking area. We don't have any spells. We don't have any global map spells yet. Where are we going to get spells from? You'll notice when you click on Celestial Spire that it's not giving you any of the spells. Got to actually go up to the star chart. Then you can rotate these from tier 1 through tier 5. And then you'll notice there's another section. This is where we have our movement spells. Each one of these does a different thing. It can transport you, it can make a gateway, and take you back to your town. Okay, so we need to activate some of these points and see if we can get from point A to point B in one day. Mind you, if you end your turn, you are toast. So you've got a set number of astrology points that you can use here. So we can see town portals active. We have shadow flight. Hero must be level 8. Hero must be level 12. And it gives you your... So we have 4 points. We have 7 points left, and we have 4 points we can use to activate. We also have Dimension Door, but we don't have enough points. So we could do Pocket Dimension as well. All right, back to the map. Let's see if we can use some of these spells. You can see we've got them activated. We have Shadow Flight. Grants the hero ability to fly until the end of the day. And that's going to be pretty important, because we've got mountains and we've got creatures that we need to get around. We also have Gate of Blight. We can create a portal if we need to. Just a note, if you're flying over objects, it costs 30% more of your movement points. See, that took us straight into this battle here, which we can fast forward through. And victory. So really that was it. It's a super simple challenge, but requires you to help, get to know the game and understand where different options come from, different spells. And it's like a tutorial with a kind of a fun result. Scenarios are another type of game mode in where you are pitted against the computer, but you have a very set story and map. So you can pick any of these different scenarios. They're going to have different win conditions. You're going to have a different character for each one, and you're also going to be able to select your difficulty. So if you want to go through here and practice, you can certainly start on easy and then move your way up to the harder difficulties. The challenge in each one of these scenarios is going to be either your time limited, which this one is a 6-week scenario, so you can amass as many troops as you want to within 6 weeks, and if you beat the end character who's going to come in and try to defeat you, then you win. If you don't, then you start over. So there's no progression. You don't move to another scenario and carry over anything you did from here. They're just single instance games with different maps and different objectives, and they're just meant to complete and then play over on harder difficulty if you would like. Arena mode is the next thing we'll look at, and basically you are choosing a hero and skills and upgrades and everything else, and then you're playing a 1v1 battle. So here you can see we are picking all of the upgrades for this hero. So depending on what you pick will actually change what you get to pick next. So if you had advanced luck, it will further let you go into expert luck. If you don't pick luck, you can pick another skill and it will let you pick the advanced of that one. But basically this is what happens when you level up in a campaign. You get to level up a skill and pick them, and it will show you kind of what the skills do, what the dependencies are, so on and so forth. Advanced skills will let you pick a specialty whenever you pick them. Now we get to choose the artifacts that we will use, and each one of these can go in a different slot. So you have many different things like weapons, armor, rings, trinkets, helmets, so on and so forth. So choose wisely here and equip the things that you think will help you win in this arena mode. Next, we're going to be choosing our spells. And spells can be critical to winning this type of game, so choose these wisely. You'll get a set of 3 spells to choose on each menu, and you have 9 different menus to choose from. Once you've chosen your spells, you will choose the creatures that you would like to use, and same thing here, you will have levels 1 through 9 to choose from here. Remember, there are 7 tiers of creatures that you can pick. A lot of the creatures that you'll pick should have synergy with each other, meaning they're from the same faction. However, you can mix and match depending on what you would like to do. They try to give you creatures in a stack that are relative to each other. So lower level creatures, you'll get larger stacks. Higher level creatures, you will get lower stacks. And then positive effects, you can pick defense, offense, then you're ready to start the game. So it is just a battle. There's no map. Takes you straight in. You can go into tactics phase, place your creatures, and begin. Now, as we get to this point, I'll go ahead and speed up the battle. It's pretty fun because you're playing kind of high level creatures, high level spells. Each hero, well, in this arena, it was level 10 for me. You can obviously tell the other hero has 22 offense, 14 defense, 5 spell power, and 8 knowledge. They should absolutely destroy me. This should be a challenge. And it was, because we lost. But it was fun. So it's a good way to learn. how to overcome some tougher enemies. Single hero mode is similar to classic, but you're only going to get one hero for the map, so choose wisely. You can choose your faction, and once you choose your faction, you can pick the hero that you like. But just note, you will only get this hero for the campaign. If you lose that hero, then you are cooked. Once you select your hero, then you can select the difficulty of the game, press start, and you are on your way. Okay, so here is a single hero map, and it's going to have win conditions and everything just like normal. There's some things to change in this game that you may want to change. So your map speed is how fast your horse or enemies are going, and then your battle speed is how fast your units move while you're in battle. Everything else is pretty normal as far as audio, video, and other things, but I do know the game being turn-based, some folks may want to turn those things up so they can progress through the game a little bit faster. That's it for settings. Now as we go through here, there's going to be a number of things around my castle. I want to take a look inside of a castle. This is Featherfall, and we can see all the units that we can produce, and you can click on those units and produce them. There's also a recruit all button, which is super helpful. You can stack your units in your army, or you can separate them out. You can control shift and do other hotkeys to move those around. If you want to upgrade creatures, you can do that on the right hand side. We've got hiring, we've got exchanging resources when you get a marketplace, and we've got a unique building for each faction in the game. The camera will move around in the town as you explore. Let's look at some of the buildings that we have here. So you can upgrade your garrison, which is upgrading how many troops you can have. Each different unit type has a construct button if you have enough resources and if you have the prerequisites. And there's a building complete there. Construction is pretty instant. Now we have 3 different types of troops that we can produce. You can click and drag those. If you move your hero into the garrison, they will auto join. You can also have a hero in the garrison and a hero visiting if you would like. But since we're playing single hero, you will only have 1 hero. Taking a look into the observatory, you can see what spells you would have. Mage guild tiers are 1 through 5. They've been that way since pretty much the beginning of Heroes of Might and Magic. There are 6 factions in the game. The temple is the Church of the Sun. We'll find angels and griffins and druids and archers, footmen, and so on. These are the creatures of the light, if you will. The necropolis is the undead. We have vampires. We have skeletons and likes. The Grove is sort of your fantasies. You have sprites and phoenix. They're more the nature bound. The Hive is kind of the underworld. So you see things like devils and creatures like that, pit vipers, so on and so forth. Schism is the newest faction to enter the game. They have some power of water, ancient Vori rites. The creatures in here are actually, they're all brand new to the game. And then we have Dungeon. Dungeon is your underground, but not to be confused with the Hive, which is more of like the hell or the devil type layers. So think black dragons and hydras, troglodytes, things like that, minotaurs, and typically your medusas. The map editor in this game is always one of the most robust tools and fun for people who like doing any kind of crafting and making your own maps. You have every single tool available to you. You can pan, you can have 3D, you can add layers, you can add all the different units, all the different elevations, the terrain, and anything you would ever want in the game, from mines to units to the different building types that give you bonuses and boons to castles. It's all here in the map editor, and then you can save your custom maps as you will. Here's a look at some of the terrain that you can add to the map. So if we just do our Bob Ross and add some happy little trees, you can see the clouds moving over our map as we do some editing. You can change this to snow. You can have all the different types of terrains in the same map. You can change their height, their rotation. It's been a feature of many of the Heroes of Might and Magic games, and they did include it in this version as well. If you want to chain different things, you just kind of click and drag and hold, and you can kind of spam different things as you will. And zoom out, kind of change your terrain, add different things wherever you would like to, zoom in if you want to get microscopic in detail. It's interesting when you add creatures and you actually see the live animation of a creature. As you can see, I had a penguin there on screen. When you place him down, it'll show where he'll walk, what he'll do. All right, folks, that's going to do it for Heroes of Might and Magic, the Olden Era. Again, if you liked anything about Heroes of Might and Magic 3, you're going to love this game. If you're new to this game, it's a great game so far. We have 4 game modes. We have the campaign, we have the map editor, we have PvP, which I didn't get into PvP at this point. I'm letting the game kind of cook for a little while before we actually get into that, and we might do another follow-up video for that. But for now, we have 6 factions to go through, 42 different types of units. We have a ton of content around single player and the campaign, and then there's also PvP as well. So there's plenty of things to do in this game. I hope you enjoyed. It is available on Steam. And if you like this content and want to see more, just follow along, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on the channel.